Hello everyone, Spirit of 420 here, and by the way, happy 420, because this episode should be coming out at 420, as I do every time, at least Mountain Time. There's one clue. Anyway, today's episode is titled, Times I Should Be Dead. First time, flying out truck window at 15 months old. So, I hope you enjoy that. I'll also just say real quickly, you can clearly see that I have not shaved. I've been working on this project. It is going well, by the way, and I talk about it more in the episode, but I will say this. I actually made a lot of good ground, in my opinion. Had to change a few things and spend a little bit more money, but anything that's worth having is worth waiting for, and also worth spending some money on and time. So, still haven't shaved. Hoping to get to that this week. The only other thing I wanted to say was, if you don't like what I'm saying, and I get that, you know, don't worry about it. I kind of have a little saying. I think I've already said that to you folks before. Don't like, don't subscribe, don't share. I don't care. Obviously, there's truth and there's not truth in that. I do want to get subscribes. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't. But I don't want people to subscribe just because they hate on me or they don't like what I'm saying or feel pressured. I don't want to be the one continuing to say that. I can't stand that. So my saying is the exact opposite, you know. And I don't say it all the time either. So with that, enjoy the episode and have a great day. Hey, Spirit of 420 here. Oh, so as normal, the stories that I share are 100% factual, and I can prove it. They are all literally documented. Furthermore, my opinions are my own, and you can't have them, but most likely a few of you will share them. A little bit more about what's going on with me lately. So I have been quite under pressure and strain. I'm working on what I think is a really awesome project for the cannabis community. And, you know, with any project, there's setbacks. Just like most of us, and I don't know how many of you are like me, but, you know, my biggest critic, as they say, is always yourself. But your biggest abuser is also yourself. You know, nobody, and I mean nobody, kicks my ass like myself. And I don't just have myself to deal with, but I also have me and I, you know, me, myself, and I, though, all three of us. And if you're anything like me, you'll know what I mean, because on any given day, I may praise myself for the good things, but then just, you know, and get in my own head, you know, I'll tell myself that people are thinking this or feeling this, when in fact, I have no point of context of that except just the own shit that I'm up here telling myself. So, you know, all I can say on that is remember many times when you're going through these things like I have to do, that most likely you're the one being hardest on you in whatever you've done. Even if it was something horrible, you're probably beating yourself up, if you have any conscience, that is, more so than the other people around you. I did want to discuss Mary Jane for a minute. I am the Spirit of 420, and there's my 420 coffee mug to prove it. I'm curious as to how many are like me, because I'm now just days away. In fact, I got to do a tweet here in a minute, because I'm on my countdown. 7's my favorite number. I'm 7 days away from 50. I started smoking, and smoking on a regular basis. Well, started at 14, and it became pretty regular by the time I was 15. And even in that first year, let's just say, anytime I could get my hands on it, I would. And that's a story for another day, because like many of you probably, I didn't actually get high, even though I was smoking and continuing. I did not actually get high and understand what getting high was until I was 16. Again, story for another day. But I wonder how many of you are like me, and what I mean by that is, I am at the point now that it is part of life. And I know some people might say, well, that just sounds like addiction. Well, if it is, then praise be God for the addiction that God gave me. I smoke all day, I dab all day, I take edibles. I mean, I tweeted it the other day, and for people who think it's crazy, I know that my friend that I helped was like, dude, you smoke so much when you're on the show. How much do you smoke? I'm like, I just smoke a couple of bowls. He's like, a couple bowls? I guess for some people that would turn them, you know, into, but for me, I actually get more energy, particularly from indica over sativa. I will say that. There is a lot of debate out there as to which one gives you energy and which one makes you a schlub. Personally, I find indica is the one that, as I said, gives me energy. Sativa tends to make me part of the couch. So back to my point, I smoke all day, I eat all day. I start off in the morning actually with 100 milligrams of Dosed, which is actually some of the most potent edibles out there. They even have a stupid little warning that says this is high octane. It's not your normal 50 milligrams of THC. Make sure your doctor's okay with it, kind of warning literally in the front of each one. And if you've never had them, go out and get them, DOSD. But I take 2 of those, 250 milligrams a day. I take 2.5 milliliters of the most potent, what's called kratom tincture. It's extremely potent, very similar to like a pain pill. I do have a cup of coffee. I also eat 2 gummy vitamins, and then I have 3 dabs of a SHO butter, almost always. That is the beginning of my morning. That is the beginning of every day. And when I do that, I actually start off the day right. If I miss any one of those things, I may be in I wouldn't necessarily say poor mood, but my back may ache. The edibles, I don't feel some huge difference is the whole point. I don't feel that euphoric high that I know a lot of you still enjoy. That just comes from years of doing it, right, and the tolerance. But if I don't do it, oh man, if I don't dab, smoke, eat edibles, and have a little bit of my tincture all day, then I'm in pain, physical pain, which is no fun, and I'm out of sorts. So, you know, is what it is, and I'm going to keep doing is. So I love it, and can't imagine a life without it, and thank the stars that they finally got smart and legalized it. And I think y'all have seen it before, but I'm going to take a hit off of Senor Rick real quick. Senor Rick, it's really easy. SR, Senor Steamroller Rick. That is his name. Moving on. So the story for the day, I think it's funny. I have I try to start these little series if you haven't caught on. And one thing I'll be doing is each series, not starting today, I'm going to be working on this weekend. I work through the week like most of us. But I will, each thumbnail will be slightly different, probably no more than color and that, and maybe a little bit of different placements, but I can't do a whole lot, I said, but at least it'll be a different color, so you know by color which series I'm talking about that day. But today is the beginning of the series of, I should be dead, and there's multiple times, but the first one happened at 15 months old. My mother and father were with each other on some kind of vacation or something. I can never get that right. It really doesn't matter, because I was with my grandmother in Kentucky, which is not where we live. So this is her home. They had a dairy farm. She drove a truck. And this is excuse me, this would be 1973, summer of 1973. So, I turned 1 in May. So you're talking about June, July, August, like around August, somewhere in there. And so it's still, pretty outside. It wasn't cold. And I know from my understanding, I was in, had a diaper on, but I was in shorts and that kind of thing. A little t-shirt, maybe not even a t-shirt, who knows. And my Nana is a very, very country woman and very hard, tough woman. A lot of Native American blood. That's where I get all my Native American blood is from my Nana. And bottom line is she's just tough. I mean, this woman is tough. Quite frankly, if you knew her, she's kind of funny. She reminds me of a Dolly Parton. When she was alive, that woman had so much chest. It literally dug. She had these, where her bra strap came over the shoulder. It was literally like a little valley where that bra strap came in, because she was holding so much breast. I used to think to myself, man, everybody loves Dolly Parton, but if they just saw my grandmother, then maybe they would love her too. Moving on, we're on our way home one day, and a lot of dirt roads, a lot of country roads, with bumps and such have you. And this was also the time when there wasn't a whole lot of seatbelt regulations going on, and this is out in the country. It's a dairy farm, so you can imagine it's quite rural. And we're driving, she's driving home, and I mean, it's my grandmother. I know her. If she's doing, 30, 35, I'd be surprised. But, quick hit. For those of you who don't like me hitting while I'm talking, well, First of all, you don't have to watch. Secondly, it's more comforting. And third, it is a way of life. I think I just went over that. I do this all day. This is like constant. You know what I mean? Without it, you don't want to know me. Put it that way. So within the blink of an eye, we hit a bump. I literally go flying out the window. And I don't mean, you know, just part of me, like maybe to my belly or something like that. And one split second, I start to go out the window. My grandmother grabs me, and all that she has is one leg, and the rest of me from the knee on is hanging outside the truck window. And of course, she's panicked at this point, and I've heard the story multiple times. As hard as you would like to think you immediately stop the truck, it's not that easy when you're hanging on to your grandchild's leg and you're wondering, are they even okay? You know, the whole thing was quite traumatic. I have no memory. It was all traumatic for my grandmother. I venture to say that probably 2 days later, I didn't have a shred of memory of it. But that poor woman, it took her, you know, as she tells it, it took her about a good 30, 40 seconds, which is a huge amount of time when you're talking about this type of situation, to bring that truck to a stop and safely get me inside. And yeah, you know, one little thing different in that moment. And, you know, I'm sure I wouldn't be here. I would have hit head first, number one, most likely busted head, cracked skull, and you know, cracked neck. So there you go. Shouldn't be here, but I am. That's the first one. And believe me, there are many, many more. So I always try to say something strange about me. I don't know. I don't necessarily think that this is something strange about only me. I have talked to several people, and what's funny is when you start to talk to almost any single person on this planet, and you actually talk to them one-on-one, and they're not putting up the facade, right? And only you know when that's happening. I'm a salesman, so I read people pretty well. But every time I get someone in that state of mind, they almost always say they share the same thing. So I feel like it's something that has to be discussed. And it's that as far back as I can remember, and I mean from my very first conscious thoughts, and we all know when we have those, it's a little different for each of us. That, by the way, is a conversation unto itself. Why are we not allowed and privileged to have memories until a certain point? I mean, even the most prodigy types, you know, the most, I don't know what that word is, and I'll probably sound like an idiot, which is fine. But even those that they call prodigies and have early memories, I think 6 months is like the earliest people go back. Which means almost, well, as far as I know, every single person starts off without the ability of retainment. That's weird. We'll talk about that another day. But from my earliest moments of consciousness, and again, every time I talk to someone one-on-one, 99% of the time they say the same thing. This world hasn't felt right. It's, I think, what hit us when all of us saw Matrix the first time, right? And I'm not talking about simulation theory. Again, that's another discussion for the day. What I'm talking about is it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel weird. Something feels off. For as long as I can remember, it feels like I'm living a dream. Like literally one day, I'm going to wake up and this was all a dream. And it, you know, not that it doesn't matter because I've gotten great experience. You know, if it was only a dream, then imagine how much I've learned in that dream. Now walking the earth for, you know, for 50 years. So again, I say it's strange about me because I've carried that feeling. I don't have that feeling anymore, by the way, and that's a conversation for another day. I still have a feeling, I should say this, the feeling has altered. It's not the exact same feeling of a dream and feeling of something being wrong. There's still a lot of that to it, but the just like anything, it's matured, it's evolved into a slightly different feeling. Not to mention the fact that I've said it many times, and I'll say it again, but I have a true knowing, not even a belief, not faith, but a knowing of God. And when you know God's real, then that also helps take that void away a little bit. Although there is still a void. I'm not trying to say there's not. And the reason that I say it's strange is because if you ask anybody this, just straight up, 99% of the time they will tell you that they don't know what the hell you're talking about and you sound crazy. But if you actually hang out with someone, maybe have a beer, share a joint, or even just share a moment, maybe it has nothing to do with any kind of mind-altering chemical. You just share a moment, you'll find that most of us end up telling you the truth, and that it is something in here. There's just this void that we feel that we don't, and we can't explain it. There's no explanation for it. If there was, I wouldn't be fucking talking about it, right? So, moving on. Everything happens just the way it's supposed to. I told you briefly about my friend the other day, and I wanted to come back to that because I think I forgot to say it in the show the other day. I know I'm sitting here looking at my coffee. I got to get better at doing this. But then I'm just like robotic, and, you know, no matter where I am, I'm staring at you. But anyway, when I went over there the other day, part of the reason that I feel everything happens for a reason, it was everything I was telling to him was awesome, and that was great. And I'm not trying to detract from the fact that I helped a friend when they were in need emotionally and mentally. But what I will say is, and I don't know that he realizes how much he actually helped me. The things that he said and the things that he shared only reinforced to like you know, the last nail in a coffin, if you will, that what I was doing was right. And he ended up, you know, I will just share this little bit because it hit me, you know, that it was the reality. But I showed him my channel, and he was like, man, everything you're saying is just, it's what I needed to hear. And hearing that, and then hearing some of the other things that he said that night in confidence with one another, it was just one of the most incredible nights, because he literally, as much as I did help him, I believe he actually helped me even more. And that's when you know that it was, you know, it was meant to be, or at least if you look at it the way that I do, you'll know it. So, with that, most people don't realize just how strange normal is. I am trying to start the hashtags hashtag be more strange, hashtag strange is good, because I truly believe that we need to see that, and let's start showing our strangeness, if you will, to the rest of the world. It's actually perfect timing. I didn't mean this by any stretch. My life just coincided with Doctor Strange and his multiverse movie coming out, which, by the way, I will be giving a review on tonight. I am going to see, and this is Friday night, tonight I'm going to see the new Fantastic Beast, and then tomorrow in the morning, 3D, going to see Mr. Strange. So, if you would, please help me as much as you can. Start that hashtag. Hashtag strange is good. Hashtag be more strange. With that, everybody out there knows about opinions, right? We all have them. Everybody thinks that everybody else smells like assholes, or stinks, if you will. Mine stink like fresh brewed coffee. Oh, with a slurp to boot. And medical grade dank weed. And on that note, have a great afternoon. There'll probably be an extra, so talk to you in 2 seconds. Hey everyone, back for the extra real quick. I just wanted to share, it's so funny, I always mean to say something and then I forget. But this bracelet is actually really cool, and this was gifted to me by the friend on the very night that I went over there and helped him. He had gotten one for me, one for him. It's nothing fancy, obviously. It's not like real silver. But what's really cool, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's Morse code. And he got one. His father suffers from Alzheimer's. He got one that says, fuck Alzheimer's. And my uncle, I lost my uncle day before Veterans Day a year and a half ago to cancer. So mine says, fuck cancer. And I just thought that was awesome. And I won't say his name. I'll get to that. But I love my uncle very much. I miss him very much. And I know my mom loves him very much and misses him. So fuck cancer. Thought that was a great idea. Morse code, and fuck the disease that's either taking somebody or is in the midst of taking someone from you. God bless. Talk to you on the next episode.